Nico and the Rainbow Lantern. Nico was a curious 8-year-old boy who lived at the edge of a small village beside a wide forest, and he always loved watching clouds for bright colors. So one Saturday morning he climbed into his grandmother's dusty attic and found an old lantern with 7 broken glass panels that once shone red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, and he decided he would bring back its rainbow magic. So he ran downstairs to show his grandmother, who smiled and told him that the lantern had belonged to his grandfather and that it needed special colored crystals to shine again. Nico felt a strong wish to help and raced next door to tell his best friend Emma, a kind 8-year-old girl who carried a small backpack of pencils and paper, and she agreed at once. So they packed a lunch of bread and cheese, 2 bottles of water, a mirror, rope, a soft cloth, and a tiny compass, and promised their parents to be home by sunset. Before setting off under a bright sky, birds sang in the tall pines as they walked the narrow path into the forest, where sunlight danced through the leaves and the air smelled of moss. And at their first stop by a clear stream they found a smooth red crystal half buried in the sand, so Nico placed it behind the red hole in the lantern, and immediately a warm red glow shone through like a new sunrise. Further on they reached a small clearing where a fox cub was trapped in a hunter's net. So Emma used the rope to free it while Nico held the lantern high, and when the cub scampered away they found an orange crystal under a nearby fallen log and set it into the orange hole, where it glowed soft and bright. Later they discovered a yellow crystal in the branches of a low oak, which Emma climbed to reach, and once they placed it in the yellow slot the lantern shone like the midday sun. As they walked deeper they noticed a small hedgehog lost near a bramble bush, and Nico gently tore off a piece of bread for it to eat before the creature led them to a secret patch of ferns where a green crystal lay hidden, and when they replaced the lantern's glass the light turned fresh green like spring grass. At a peaceful lake they paused to rest, and Emma used the mirror to catch a beam of sunlight and direct it through the blue hole until the lantern glowed sky blue. And a little farther they heard the cries of a crow caught in a trap, so they freed the bird together and watched it fly, and found a deep indigo crystal tucked into the trap's wooden post, which they used to make the lantern shine in rich indigo tones. By late afternoon they reached the foot of a rocky hill where a dark cave gaped in shadow, and they felt a soft wind carrying a lullaby that led them inside, where Nico used his compass to guide them past dripping stalactites and glistening stones until they found the final violet crystal on a natural pedestal. And when they slipped it into its place the lantern burst into full rainbow color, lighting every corner of the cave and sending warm light dancing on the walls. They stepped out under a pale sunset sky to see that their rainbow lantern had painted a perfect arc in the forest canopy, making flowers shimmer in new hues and drawing shy animals from the trees. And as they carried the glowing lantern back along the winding path they felt proud and happy, knowing that each act of kindness had helped collect the colors. When they reached the village square their parents waited with wide smiles, and all the villagers gathered to see the rainbow lantern shining bright against the twilight, and they cheered for Nico and Emma, praising their courage and friendship. That night the rainbow lantern hung above the square like a promise of hope, and every evening children came to look up at its light and remember that small hands, a kind heart, and brave spirits can bring all the colors of a rainbow back into the world.